Hey, good morning. It is a rare Saturday morning Boogie with the Bull here on Facebook, on the Dave Golovin profile, and over on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. This is to make up for the fact that we're not able to do the Friday 10 a.m. Morning caffeine yesterday. With us, Bill Muckler. Everyone knows who Bill is, a great guy. I wish that we had been able to have the broadcast yesterday and have Bill on as a regular guest. You all know that he is a retired Marine captain, an entrepreneur, a highly respected author, and is writing a novel that we'll talk about later. What do you want to bring up today, Bill?
Well, I want to talk about the State of the Union address. The State of the Union address, the first one, Washington just, wrote it out and sent it to Congress, as like a letter or whatever. But since then, it's grown and become an animal of its own. But the way it used to be like the last Tuesday of January, you knew the president was going to give a State of the Union. He would tell us, what is the State of the Union? Is the State of the Union strong, and what it's all about, and what's going to happen, and so forth. And we could kind of, as citizens, expect that. Now they have it on a Thursday in March. What the heck is that all about? Now here's my beef, though. So this guy, the head of the Biden crime enterprise, is completely, I guess, is at the whim of whoever is controlling him. I don't know. But to have this in March, I mean, I want to know what the State of the Union is in January. I don't want to wait until halfway through the year or fourth way through the year to find out, oh, okay, here's what we got. So here's my real beef, though. In the Marine Corps, well, let's go back to like when I was going to school. Classes start at a certain time. You didn't hold up the class because one person was late. So you'd say, well, we can't start class now because Johnny is late. So we're going to have the 30 other people in the class wait for him and inconvenience them because one person is late. You didn't do that. You didn't do that in high school. You didn't do it in college. In the Marine Corps, if we had something going on at 0600, it was 0600. It wasn't 0610 or 13 or 17. And if you had something happening at 1000 hours, it was 1000 hours. There was never a thought in anybody's mind there would be anything other than that. I think I know a little bit about leadership, being a Marine officer. I got into consulting and I actually taught courses in leadership. One of the main principles of leadership is be on time. You can't go to a meeting and sit there and wait for one person to be 5 or 10 or 15 minutes late and hold up all the rest of the people and make them sit there and inconvenience them and waste their time. You just don't do that. Leadership is all about leading, setting an example, being on time. So this bozo can't even make it on time in March the 6th, I think it was. Thursday in March, can't even be on time for his own State of the Union address. So what's he do? He completely disrespects all the people in the United States who are going to watch this. 30 million, 300 million, I don't know how many watch it. And he's late. He's late. He's late for something that starts at 9:10 at night. How about Tuesday? How about the last Tuesday in January at 9 p.m. period? Start it then and do it. Okay, so now
he was seriously late for that.
Yeah. So he's late. He comes in and he's got to do all this selfie crap and talk to everybody, and everybody's got to touch him like he's some kind of messiah or something like that. And so finally, when they get started, it's what? 9:26 or something like that, whatever time it was, late. So what he did is, for him, he thought of himself as being more important than the 330 million people who live in the United States who are waiting to hear what the state of our union is. We have to sit and wait. And the media, they act like, oh, well, he's late. He's always late. He's late for this. He's late for that. He's always late. They don't tell you why he was late. I'm sitting there wondering, why is this guy late? What's he doing at 9 o'clock at night that he's late? Maybe they had to change his diaper. I don't know what will happen.
That's just
maybe
what I was thinking.
Maybe they need to give him another shot of adrenaline or steroids or whatever in the hell they had him on to pump him up to be able to do this. I have no idea. But they could have done this a little bit earlier and been there on time and started the thing on time. The whole idea is it's all about leadership. And this guy has no leadership capabilities at all. And we're supposed to listen to him and we're supposed to vote for him for president when he can't even be on time. The basic principle of leadership is just to set an example. And you set an example by doing things properly, like being on time. Such a simple little thing. And the media just blew it off like, oh, that's just Joe, and that's just the way he is, and he's always late. And they're always making excuses for him. They're making excuses for America being a poor nation in decline, that we can't even be on time for something like learning what the state of our union is. We can't even be on time for that. It's not that important to be on time. It's not important for our leaders to be leaders. It's more important for them to smooth around and screw around and do whatever they want, have their diapers changed or whatever in the hell they're doing, instead of being up there and being on time. And I know a lot of people are watching this are going to say that I'm off the rails, that I don't know what I'm talking about, that I'm crazy about this. But I just want to tell you, as far as leadership is concerned, go back to going to class in college. Classes start on time. If you were late, you were late. We didn't hold up the whole room waiting for you. In the Marine Corps, if you were not on time, you were in trouble. And why? Because the Marine Corps knows leadership. And I know when I taught leadership as a consultant, or maybe we had a meeting and we'd have like 12 people or scheduled being a meeting, everybody be in their place around the conference room table. And one person would be late and they say, oh, we got to wait for so-and-so. He's late. Well, he's always late. Well, he has no respect for the other people that he's making wait for him. Just like Biden has no respect for the people in the United States of America, the citizens of the country he's supposed to be the president of. And as far as I'm concerned, he has absolutely no leadership abilities. And that's a perfect reason, absolutely, to not vote for this guy in November. He is not a leader. Okay.
What do you think they could have done? Do you think they could have just brought him in earlier and gave him more time to work his way through the crowd so that he gets up to the podium at 8:55 and he's ready to go?
I think they do whatever it takes to have him stand there at 9 o'clock. What's this 9:10 bullshit all about? Start at 9 o'clock. It's 9 o'clock in the evening. What's going on at 9 o'clock in the evening that you can't be on time? Let him do whatever he wants to do, but have him there starting out at 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Period. And let the nation know what the State of the Union is on time.
Yep. What else?
That's my rant for the week. I guess maybe I see things differently than other people, although I don't. The people that I know and respect, that I know as leaders, I learned from them, and I I know a lot of people, we've kind of dumbed down America to a point. We've kind of made America so weak and loose and lackadaisical that nobody has to be on time. People show up to church late. People come to meetings late. You go to meet somebody at a certain time and they're late. And to me, that's a sign of disrespect. And when you disrespect somebody, you're not really a leader. And they can do whatever they want to do. Change his diaper at 8:30. Do whatever they want to do. Do it so he's ready to go at 9 o'clock. What's this 9:10 stuff? That makes no sense whatsoever. And get him there early. Let him do his smoozing if that's what he wants to do. Take all that into consideration. They say they have all these movements planned down to the second. Walk out of the White House door, get into the limo or the Beast, drive down the street. All the they don't have to obey traffic signals, or everything's all set for them. Everything is down to the split second. Respect our country. Respect the citizens in our country. Don't be late.
I know Ronald Reagan was rumored when he was giving them they timed the audience response because they wanted to stick to the 1 hour. He wanted to be able to get everybody out of there. Everybody sit down at 9 o'clock. He started speaking. 10 o'clock, it was done. He schmoozed the crowd on his way out. He was back in the limousine, and everybody was home, or whatever they were going to do afterwards. And
great point, Dave. Great point. Difference between a leader and not a leader. And why can't this thing be a 1 hour deal? Why does it have to be an hour and 8 minutes? Why can't they discipline him enough? The reason why they couldn't, because they wanted him to rant and rave, because he didn't really give a State of the Union address. He stood up there like an angry asshole, telling half of America how bad we are and making a campaign speech because he knew, and they had to have him pumped up enough to know that, hey, we can actually put this guy, nominate him at our convention and have him on the ballot for November. It's like there's no respect for us. Do they think we're all stupid? The whole thing, Dave, is just unbelievable. I'm glad you brought up the point about Reagan. That's just so true. There was a guy who was a leader.
Yeah.
Why can't this thing be an hour long? And another thing about it is this up and down, up and down, up and down. I get up and clap, up and down, up and down. What are they clapping for? Clapping for stuff that's stupid stuff, silliness, unbelievable, and no fact checking at all.
Yeah.
Now, my son came up, and I don't know if I should say this or not. He came up with a pretty good idea, but he said it would never happen. He said, "What in order to have a debate, need to have somebody that's a moderator, like a Joe Rogan, who's got a guy who's like his producer or board guy or whatever, that's a fact checker, and actually have a debate where you have the moderator there who is a totally neutral guy with an expert fact checker. And as soon as they get offline, this Biden, some of the stuff he said, I can't believe he was saying this. And they all get up and they stand up and applaud, like, oh, isn't he wonderful? Oh, how great he is, how wonderful he is. He's a loser.
Yeah. What do you think about the hecklers? I mean, I know that Marjorie Taylor Greene heckled him a few times, and I know he deserved it. Does that add time? And I'm sure there were people on the other side that stood up and yelled things too. So I'm not singling out MTG, but
Should all of that be phased out?
I remember a few
sit
years
down and
ago
do
when
the speech?
Obama's up in what was his name? Joe Wilson from South Carolina screamed liar. No,
Yeah.
I'm against that. I think it's the president's State of the Union. It's the State of the Union address for the entire country. I think everybody just sits there and listen. Don't say anything. If you want to say something, arrange to talk to the press afterwards and make your comments and so forth. I think it's all about respect. Respect the office of the president. Respect the fact that he's going to give us a report on the state of our union. And just let it go at that and forget about the politics, forget about the petty stuff. I don't think they should be doing that. I also don't think they should have arrested and fined the father of the Marine who was killed in Afghanistan. They hauled his poor butt out of there because he helped the United States Marines.
Well, arrested him on a misdemeanor. I don't know what will happen.
But he shouldn't have done. He should have kept his mouth shut. What he should have done is arrange to have a press conference where he could explain how his son was killed and how the Biden criminal enterprise has disrespected his son and the rest of the families that were killed over there in Afghanistan needlessly. Hey, Dave, I gotta go. I guess you're going to have to carry the show yourself today. You don't have me, but you'll be a lot better off if I'm not ranting and raving.
No, that's not true, Bill. That is not true. You're one of my favorites to have on.
Oh boy,
definitely one of my favorites to have on.
I
tell everybody what your show is on before you go.
Okay, I'm on at 11 a.m. Monday through Friday, and I'm on the Next Gen USA network, and you can find my shows. They're all there online. You can go back issues, going back a year even, but you just go to Facebook, and it's on Facebook. And if you can't make it, until maybe 2 or 3 in the afternoon, it's still on Facebook. You can watch it live. So, I mean, not live, but watch it, replay on it or whatever they call it when you don't see it the first time around, but you see it when it's replayed.
Now, before you go, is this required reading if you're going to watch your broadcast?
Well, no. I just want people to watch. I would love for people to read my books. If you read my books, you'll find that, I got some pretty good common sense ideas that the politicians don't really care for too much. But a lot of people are starting to think, hey, maybe I knew what I was talking about 10 years ago, or at least had an idea of what would be good for America. Because, I'm Dave. I'm just an America First guy. This is just the greatest country that's ever been on the planet in the 8,000 to 10,000 years of kind of recorded history that we know about, and we're just pissing it away with all this stuff, like being late to tell us what the State of the Union is.
All right, Bill, I don't want to make you late for breakfast because
I got to go.
Most important meal of the day.
Yeah, I meet some pretty good guys, and we'll have a good time. They'll give me a hard time about a lot of stuff, but I handle myself.
I'm sure you do.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, Bill, you're welcome.
Good luck to you. Have a good weekend, and God bless all our watchers and readers and everybody, and God bless our America, Dave. Our America, Bill. Not that America that those other guys are trying to make it into be. God bless our America.
All right, Bill, you're welcome back anytime.
Okay, thank you for the invitation. That's great.
Okay. Bill Muckler from the Bill Muckler Show, as he said, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. here on Facebook. It is shared in many groups here on Facebook. You can go to the Bill Muckler Show group and join and watch it. And you can also go to the Bill Muckler Facebook profile and share it and watch it, or watch it and share it. The books again that we talked about.
Let me make sure I get them in the right way on the camera because they're reversed here. 2020, A Clear Vision for America, and 2020, A Clear Vision for Our Future. Both books are available at 2020americabook.com, 2020americabook.com. They are $25 for the set. They were formerly sold on Amazon, but now they are exclusively available at 2020americabook.com. Go to the Bill Muckler Facebook page, and you can also read up on them as well. Has some really good ideas in the book, as far as I'm concerned. He believes that the federal Department of Indoctrination, more commonly known as the Department of Education on the federal level, should be shut down, and its responsibility should be returned to the state departments of education. And one of my favorites, the IRS should be shut down, and it should be just basically shut down once and for all, because the way I understand it, we're still paying debts to King Charles that we probably won't be paying. I mean, we'll probably be paying forever, and we probably paid them off and paid them over many times, and we shouldn't do it anymore. The web address again, Colin, let me see if I can get it typed in while I'm talking. It is 2020 americabook.com. One of these days we're going to get a little fancy. We'll have a fancy person off the camera doing all the integrations, but it's 2020americabook.com. And let's see, if you're looking for a nice 67 Chevy Nova, it's been sold. Callan McMillan bought it. No, he owned it, and he's still keeping it because people are still asking me about it. I will no longer go on to a post where someone has a really nice classic car and ask them if it is for sale anymore, because I know that they wouldn't keep it. I mean, they wouldn't sell it, probably regardless of the price. He does have a really nice used box ALS Advanced Life Support Cube ambulance that he says he is interested in selling. And those things have many, many, many uses. I know people that have bought them and made really nice mobile studios out of them. Let's see, I know a guy who is in the board up business that had one at one time. Campaign committees have bought them and repainted them for the campaign and set them up as mobile campaign posts. So think about that. I do want to apologize to Randy Rhodes. Randy Rhodes was supposed to be joining me this morning, and when I went to let Randy from the green room onto the set before we went live, I did not have a shirt on. I was 100% dressed below, but I did not have a shirt on. And the only reason I didn't have a shirt on is that at the same time that I guess Randy's cat jumped up and blocked the view for Randy, that I didn't have a shirt on, our dog decided to kick over her water bowl and her food bowl at the same time, and that made a mess. And I just didn't want to get it. I just didn't want to get it all over the place, because Donna and Angela are out at a very big craft show in Jacksonville on the beach today, and I didn't want to knock water over any yarn that didn't go with them to the show. And we just don't have enough people in the studio sometimes to make sure things don't happen. And Alan said that the guy that owned the ambulance used it to take homebound folks to their doctor appointment. That is a very good use of it, something that is near and dear to my heart, because honestly, affordable medical and non-medical transportation for people like me who don't drive anymore is getting harder and harder to find. People will take you, but they want you to pay them like $75 million an hour, and it's just not worth it. Anyway, Randy's here. We're going to move on to some different open topics this morning. The dogs in Studio B are barking. They're almost done with their studio time, so I apologize for
Dave,
when
you get to our age with all the medical problems that we seem to experience at this point of our life, perhaps the car we should actually be driven in is an ambulance converted into a car, so that should something happen in route to the store or whatever, they can throw us in the back of the ambulance and take us right to the hospital.
I used to joke when I was in California, because I drove a hearse more than I drove anything else when I wasn't working. We had an 85 Cadillac hearse that Whoopi Goldberg drove as the car that she was going to drive through the cemetery in Jumping Jack Flash, and she didn't like that one. So we brought her out a 75 Cadillac hearse, and she liked that one, so she drove that one in the movie. And I don't know, afterwards I was kind of scared over what might ever happen to it, so I drove it. But no, honestly, I just drove it because people never gave you any trouble on the road when you were driving a hearse. They just got out of your way. So,
yeah.
They didn't want to hit the hearse, And I mean, you don't want to get to the gates of hell and say to Satan, "Oh, well, I'm here because I cut off a hearse on the way to a funeral, and that's why I'm here." But I drove it all the time to upset not really too upset, but one of the guy that lived across the street from me was a very nice Asian guy who used to come up to me all the time when I was out in front of the house, and he would go, "We don't want that car in this neighborhood, this happy neighborhood. We want happy cars in this neighborhood." And I used to look at him and I go, "That's a very happy car, because when it works, it makes me lots of money." At that time, people were paying more for a hearse than they were paying for just about any other vehicle that we had. But like you said, go ahead, hit me while I'm driving the hearse. All they're going to do is throw me in the back and take me to the incinerator, and I'm done.
There you go. You mentioned incinerator, and not that I am at that age or not poor of health that I need to start thinking about my demise. But you are, I am at this point where I got, start considering these things, and just the thought of being cremated, even though I won't know it. Okay, I'm dead. My spirit's, in heaven, hopefully, and hopefully I've done everything I'm supposed to go to heaven. But, just the mental thought now, the conscious thought now of being burned as opposed to being buried. I like the old way, the way they buried people. They buried a person, and they had a stick or a pole at the top of the ground with a bell on it, and a rope attached to it going into the ground where the body is. Because back in the day, looks like my camera went off. Okay. Hold on a second. Look, we got some problems here, folks.
Okay.
There we go.
You're back.
That's kind of weird. I'm talking about death. My camera goes off. Or I'm talking about God, and my camera goes out. Someone's telling me something. But back in the day, when someone died, a lot of times they got buried prematurely, and the person wasn't actually dead. It's in some kind of coma kind of state. So they would bury the people, and then they'd have a string or a rope with this bell attached to it, and they wrap it around the wrist of the person that's being buried. That way, if the person woke up, they could ring the bell to get someone's attention to dig them back up.
Yeah, but what if it's 3:00 in the morning and nobody's there?
Well, then I guess you're screwed.
My biggest fear before even remotely thinking about castration, cremation. Yeah, I said the word wrong, but
I was going to say, okay.
That's a dementia thing. That's a dementia thing. Across some words there. But anyway, my biggest fear was that they would put me in. You're already in the casket at your funeral service. They close the lid, turn on the airlock, and then take you to the cemetery where they do another service, and they lower you into the ground, and then they put that
my camera connection.
They put that big slab of concrete on top of your box, and then throw the dirt in and cover you up. My biggest fear was that as soon as they did that, I would wake up because I wasn't dead. And obviously you can't get out, so you just stay in there until you suffocate. My only thing to say about cremation and looking down and watching it is, what if they're wrong and you do feel it? Because once you're burnt, then, you're out of that body once and for all, I guess, and you're up wherever you're going to be, or down where you're going to be. It all kind of depends. Hang on just a minute. All right, we lost Randy. Randy's back. Good.
Someone doesn't want me on your show.
What if they're wrong and you do feel it? But anyway, the dogs really want to be on the show. One of these days, I should bring the dogs in and have them on.
There you go. Yeah, make it part of the show.
And have them on the show.
Doggy Day show. Yeah. So I was going through all the politics stuff, and I'm gonna tell you what, our country has all kinds of weird things going on in the world of politics. Did you watch any of the old man's speech?
I watched the whole thing.
Oh God, bless you.
But I watched the whole thing only because about a half hour before, I read an article that said he asked for, or somebody on his staff asked for 2 scheduled breaks. And I guess they agreed to give them to him. Then I spent most of the day Thursday, because I had read it earlier, asking everybody I know in the history of themselves, like, I'm 62, I didn't ask you, but you're 65. My mother is 87. I didn't ask Bill, but he's 89. But anywhere in our history, is there any time where a president took a break in the State of the Union address?
No.
And my fear was
I've never seen one.
Right. And wait, you're 67?
Oh, I'm sorry, 65.
Oh, all right. I was going to say, I need to correct myself. But I mean,
I'm sorry.
No one has ever taken a break. And my fear was, what is he going to do? He's going to walk off the stage, walk out of the room and go. We don't know who's going to come back in. We don't know if he's going to forget what he's doing and just walk down to the limousine and say, get me out of here or take me home.
So did he take his breaks?
I didn't see them. I did see near the end is when he started yelling and screaming and getting a little bit more rambunctious, like, I'm Joe Biden, president of the United States, and I'm going to prove to you that I have a right to be here, kind of thing.
Maybe his clothes were wearing off when he started doing the yelling thing.
Could be.
But I like the Marjorie Taylor, what's her name? Marjorie Taylor Scott, or whatever.
Green.
When she interrupted him about to force him to say the name of the woman who was killed by the illegal immigrant, and he obviously had to anticipate it, that he had that little pendant, the little lapel pin next to him on the desk on the dais to show it. So he must have been expecting something to be said about that. But then the other guy.
Go ahead.
The other guy was dragged out because he was trying to get his son recognized.
Gold Star Marine father, as Bill had brought up. Yeah,
that's bullshit.
Right. And the other thing I noticed was he didn't turn around and give a copy of the speech to Senate President, Vice President Harris, or House Speaker Mike Johnson. He had the binder that he read it out of. It was open to like halfway, maybe a little less than halfway, but he never turned a page. Even just to make it look like maybe he was reading it, he never turned the page.
Huh.
And maybe there were teleprompters there and he could read them and he could see, or maybe he had a speaker, a thing in his ear, and he could hear what he was doing. I don't know, but it just didn't seem right. And then at times it seemed like he was egging on the people who were yelling at him because he wanted to get into a confrontation with them. I don't know if he forgot where he was at the time, but it just seemed like he wanted them to yell at him so that he could confront whatever they were yelling at him about. And he almost looked like he was smiling at one point, that at least he was getting that kind of interaction with these people. And like Bill said, on both sides, it's kind of guilty of elongating the thing, because if everybody had just shut the hell up, let him speak, limited their applause like Reagan wanted them, so that everybody could get out of there and go about their business, it wouldn't have been that long. Plus, I think, I watched because I wanted to see how late after 9 o'clock it was that it started. Because my thing is that if I was president and they want me to start speaking at 9 o'clock because the networks or everybody's only going to give me 1 hour for the speech, then start walking me in at 8 o'clock and get me up to the podium. And then if there's any extra time, let people come down to the podium and shake my hand and do whatever. But 9 o'clock, boom, I'm there speaking. And hopefully 10:05, I'm at the bar afterwards going, what the hell did I do?
You're right about that. But, going back to the guy who was yanked out because he was trying to get his son's death recognized. What about all the damn Democrat women wearing white? I understand that was a visual way of talking about women's birthrights or women's right to abortion or whatever. But, you have 30, 40 women all wearing white. So they're silently getting their message across. But so they're allowed to do that. But the guy up there can't talk about his, get his son's addressed. At least, one thing you have to say about Republican presidents back in the day when they would do their speeches about how good or bad our country's doing, is that they'll acknowledge, the deaths of military personnel or something like that. Whereas the Democrats, because because their stupidity. Not making sure those guys are safe on at the wall, and the way they withdrew the soldiers cost them their lives. The Democrats have to take the blame, but they won't. And the way to do it is by not acknowledging the deaths of those. Like just what happened, I guess it was yesterday, that National Guard helicopter that was flying the southern border. It was federalized, so it's under Biden's responsibility. But it crashed, and the people on board were killed. I was trying to find before coming on here the reason why it crashed, but I didn't. The cartel, the freaking cartel is on the border filming the helicopter, right? So they have their little drone thing flying up in the air. Maybe that's what happened. Who knows?
I hope not.
They had their drone flying, filming the National Guard's helicopter, and you can see it's flying, and it appears to be flying low over the ground. And next thing you know, it's crashed, and the cartel guys are laughing their heads off because they know we just lost the helicopter. Plus, the people on board the helicopter are dead. So they're laughing at us.
Yeah.
But nothing is said as to what caused the helicopter to crash.
I don't know. Crazy stuff. Just crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. And it's going to get crazier because Trump is so far up in the delegate count or poll over Biden that, I mean, everybody says that everybody has the right to keep saying it. What happens if he doesn't win? I don't think America wants to be here. I don't think Democrats want to be here if we have a repeat of 2020. But what the Democrats don't understand is if you really want to get rid of Donald Trump, let him come back, do his 4 years, make whatever changes he's going to make, and battle the next Republican in 2028 over whether or not Democrats are going to come back. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. But the longer you keep him from getting that second term and he thinks he's able to run and he can pass all the mental testing, cognitive testing, he's going to keep running. He's going to keep running. No,
yeah, I'm looking at some on my second screen some political stuff to talk about. Trump just put up $91 million in that damn lawsuit, so he can actually $93 million, so he can challenge the court, fine for this asshole lady. So there's no fit there. It's not going to gain interest. No one can touch it, supposedly. Okay, supposedly.
And there are people stepping forward on the New York real estate thing, saying this is how the banks do it. It doesn't matter that he goes into something and he devalues a piece of property or he increases the value of a piece of property, because the banks are going to go and appraise all of the properties he's willing to put up as collateral. And if the banks, whatever the banks say is the value of all that property, is the money they're going to loan him. And if he agrees to it, he takes it. And like he said, and like the banks have said, nobody lost a effing dime. The banks got their money back. The judge supposedly has said to the bankers, you cannot loan him money anymore because you've lost money. And we're going to give you money out of this settlement. And the bankers keep going, you don't understand. Trump can say this paperclip is worth $75 bazillion. If we say it's only worth $10 bazillion, that's all we're going to loan him, is $10 bazillion. And when he pays it back, we have made all of our money. So I went back on posts yesterday every time I saw this and said, you know what? They should take the most recent loans, the oldest loans that Trump has outstanding that is covered in that $500 million, make him pay it, give it back to the banks, pay off those loans early, which is going to increase his credit, and the banks are going to loan him more money and thank him for doing this.
This whole thing.
It's a game that those elites can play. The elite banks can play games with the bazillions of dollars that they have to loan to the real estate developers who need the bazillions of dollars. And some say that Trump doesn't need most of the loans that he asks for. So I don't, why are we arguing about it?
I still, I'm looking here and, Trump obviously has the money. It's just a point that, he has to even defend himself in his bogus lawsuits. But, I have to think that if Trump said, you know what, I'm done. I'm going to withdraw my name. I'm going to go back to Mar-a-Lago. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my life with my gorgeous wife, my fabulous family. Screw the politics. Screw this nation. Screw the whole program. Do what you want. I'm set for life. My family is set for life. I bet you 10 cents. All these damn lawsuits go away. All the
That would
fines go
be
away.
that would be the only way. I'm sorry I cut you off, but I always do. But I do apologize. That would be the only way if I was Trump that I would agree to do this. They drop everything. They pardon me from everything they think I've ever done, whether I did it or I didn't do it. They pardon me from it all and send me away. And I keep getting my $450,000 a year presidential pension, which I don't need anyway. But hey, I keep getting that, and I keep my Secret Service protection for life, and that's it. Because he said, I've seen videos where he said I could do that. But the reason that I don't do that is that this battle isn't with them. This battle is for the American people, and they want me to keep doing this. And I've said before, God throws challenges at you to see how you react to those challenges, how you handle those challenges. And when you do, you get God points. Maybe I guess they're only good for the hereafter, but you get God points. And when you pass away, I don't know, maybe God points get you into a better neighborhood in heaven. Maybe they get you.
So you're saying that there's so you're saying that there's a Trump heaven hotel waiting for President Trump and his family.
There's something up there waiting. My father was in hotels and restaurants for a bazillion years. Both he managed for people, and then he had his own, and then he had his own, and he consulted for other people. And I've always thought when you die and you go to heaven, there's something waiting for you. So one night I went to sleep. At some point, I don't know if it was just a dream or a vision, or maybe I was one-on-one with God. We were sitting somewhere. It was nice. We were out in the sun. We were drinking good coffee. And he said, "What's the problem?" And I said, "I'm afraid of dying because I don't know what it's going to be like when I get to the other side." And he took my hand and he looked at me and he said, "Don't worry, I've already taken care of it." So I said, "What?" He said, "Well, you drove for everybody. You drove for all these other companies. You managed all these other companies. You had your own company. Your job when you pass on and come up here is that you're going to be the driver for the Grim Reaper." And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "You remember that show Touched by an Angel? Andrew, the blonde-haired guy who looked like he was dressed in the best suits and whatever?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, what most people didn't realize is that Andrew was the Grim Reaper." And he said to me, the reason that he looked that way is that God didn't want you to be scared that someone was coming to get you and take you home. He wanted you to understand it was time for you to go home. So I said, "Oh, okay." So he said, "You will be driving the best limousines, the best cars, the best whatever, when it's you driving Andrew. But when you come down to pick someone up to take them home, it could be a beautiful horse-drawn carriage. It could be a Harley hearse. It could be whatever they wanted their last ride to be." So, that's why
I won't deny that, the thought of dying in the afterlife has always, I won't say scared me, but has always been in the back of my mind. And I actually challenged myself. I bought a couple of books about people's afterlife experiences, the ones who died, clinically died in the hospital, but were brought back. And you read about it and you see, well, these people were dead 5, 6, 8 minutes, and the doctors managed to bring them back. And in some cases, the people were able to correctly describe everything that was going on, because they said that they were lifted up out of their bodies and they're actually looking down, and they could see the doctors feverishly trying to bring that person back. And they're able to describe the things that were said, people, what they were wearing, the medical tools they're using. And then they describe themselves being sucked up into a bright light, and appearing in what would be another world, and they will describe the family members who were there waiting for them, and so forth. And so that gave me some some, first off, concerns that am I right with God? I better start reading my Bible again and start doing things right, so I'm right with God. But then also it made me feel better that there is something. Because then you had the other folks who died and were brought back, and they had a totally different scenario of experiencing hell. My brother, he had multiple heart valve surgery, and during the procedure, he actually died on the hospital table, and they brought him back. He died. They brought him back. He died, and that went on for quite a long period of time, to where they finally had to put him into a medical coma, because every time they brought him out of the anesthesia, he died. So they put him into a coma. He was in a coma for a couple of months, and they finally were able to bring him back out of the medically induced coma. And the first words out of his mouth was, he experienced falling downward, and like a tunnel, falling downward and downward and downward. And all around him were these hands and arms reaching out, and these ugly, scary faces trying to grab him as he was falling down. And I said to my brother, I said, Mike, I think you experienced hell. And if that's the case, you need to get yourself right with God, because, what you described. Yeah. And of course, he didn't change his lifestyle, so who knows what's going to happen when it actually comes to being. But so how many? Yeah, we got on this topic because you're talking about the hearse. But
that's all right. It was a beautiful car.
Yeah, politics wise, we're all over the damn border, dude. The Speaker of the House claims that he is not going to authorize any more money going to Ukraine until the southern border has been secured. Do you believe him? You think he's going to keep that promise?
I don't. Well, he can, but it's like he decides what the money is going to be spent on, and they vote on it. And if it's passed the way he wants it, it goes to the president. But then the president can upchuck it and say no, and veto it and send it back, and then they have to override it. So I mean, it's a whole mess. It's not like any one of them can actually write the checks or say stop the checks, and that's where it's going. And then, I don't understand enough about what's going on over in Ukraine, other than it just seems like a whole lot of money is going into Ukraine, and it's going somewhere other than to fight a war. And a guy who I guess was a not funny comedian, as other people said, is now the head of the country. And it must not be that bad of a comedian if he's getting the United States to go bankrupt running his treasury. But I don't really know. What do people think? Dave, did you get my friend request? Yes, Nick, I did get your friend request, and I answered it yesterday, I believe. Or it had to have been yesterday or late Thursday, because of my everybody else who got knocked off of Facebook during the Super Tuesday power outage, was back on within a few hours. For me, it was a couple of days. I came back sometime Thursday.
So we lost another true Hollywood heroine. Her name is Jean Allison.
Yep.
She died at the age of 94. God bless her.
Yep.
She was on The Rifleman, which is one of my very favorite shows.
Yep. Chuck Connors.
Highway to Heaven, Bonanza. So she was on all the old TV shows that I used to watch.
There seems to be some kind of controversy involving Chuck Connors and The Rifleman. I keep seeing articles. I don't understand what it is, other than the only thing I could figure is that maybe he was playing the heartthrob Hollywood guy that every lady wanted to be involved with, and maybe he was only interested in being involved with Cary Grant. But go ahead, Randy.
What about Cary Grant?
Maybe Chuck Connors was only interested in being a manly man with Cary Grant.
Oh, don't blow my image of my hero. My God.
Or the guy who played Mike Brady.
Oh well, that
He was the sharpshooting cowboy.
Hold on. Okay, so I was just doing the Chuck Connors thing here to see what secrets come to light so we can talk about, but it was a video, so I apologize for that. Let me do a download of the script. You know, I actually finally figured out. You know, I've been trying. Oh, be quiet! Be quiet! Be quiet! There you go. I've been trying to get, you know, my two broadcasts with some type of music introduction, and I couldn't figure it out. So yesterday, I was doing some videos, how-to videos, and I followed the one guy's instructions, and it seems to work, but it cost me $15 freaking dollars. I signed up for YouTube's TV subscription, so I could download video content, and then open up StreamYard, do a share video, and then do a different tab, and then play the video or the audio on that second tab, so that when it plays on StreamYard, it actually sounds decent. The way I was doing it my other way was using my microphone in front of the monitor to get the sound into the video of the broadcast, and of course the audio sucked. There has to be some other way other than it cost me $14 a month for a damn YouTube subscription.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. I reached out to.
We just count down and.
I reached out to another broadcaster because she has his own little ditty music to see what it cost, what he paid his friend to produce it. He hasn't responded back to me. I thought that might be a way too, because I actually, I have a Dixie Jubilee. They're a Celtic family singer family. They sing Southern music. They sing Celtic, they sing Christian music, so forth. She actually has authorized me to use her music in any of my broadcasts I want to. So now I finally figured out how to do it. I'll probably start using that. But hopefully there's a way of doing it without costing me $15 a month, $14.95. But who knows? Anyway,
I don't know what else is on the table.
Let's see. Of course, the whole thing with the UFOs and the flying saucers, that's getting to be bigger and bigger and showing up in the news feed a whole lot more.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You got to check our list of what we're allowed to cover. Don't want to cross on anybody's toes and get nailed. Are we allowed to cover UFOs on Boogie with the Bull broadcasts?
Oh, well, why would you?
Okay, I'm just making sure.
I don't think there's any space aliens watching us to criticize our conversation about them. But
no, but they might tell that one broadcaster, and then we might get in trouble because we might get dragged before their broadcast court and tried for blasphemy or something. You know.
Yeah, okay, so let's stay away from that. You know, the cartel. Okay,
the cartel.
The cartel along the Mexican border. They're starting to get. They're getting some pretty decent military weaponry to protect their asses. I saw their armored vehicles. Almost looks like a tank. They got the whole uniform and headgear and body armor, and they got the weapons.
I wonder if they're buying it at Afghanistan Motors.
Hey, who knows? But the Mexican government is getting their asses kicked when they go to try and arrest people because they got the damn protection of the cartel military. I mean, we have our problems in our own country, but can you imagine living in a country where the cartel controls a large portion of it, and you almost have to be afraid who to talk to and who will go against.
What's the day, or when is going to be the day when the cartel takes over the Mexican government, like Hamas took over the Israeli government?
That's what I'm waiting for.
And then what happens? And how quickly after we put up the rest of the wall? I like. Oh God, what's her name? Boebert, Lauren Boebert. Whose bill is the Build the Wall and Deport Them All Act? That's the actual name of the bill. What happens when the wall is finally built and we start deporting them all?
I don't know. Just that this country that we live in now, it's not the country I was born into. It's changed a lot. It really has. And my daughter, she'll tell me, Dad, you growing up in your world and you were watching those TV shows, all this that we're seeing now was actually happening back then. It's just that with the computer and the internet and the social medias, and everybody's got a cell phone with a camera, it just has become more prominent to see it now, as opposed to it being hidden back when I was a kid and I was living this life of bliss and with blinders on, knowing how people were being treated and so forth. But I didn't see it. It wasn't in my face. Wasn't on my TV. And
God,
she's
how
right.
Did we live? How did we live without all of this?
And look at the Amish. I mean, the Amish seem to do it now. Now the Amish and the Mennonites who still live the old style, who own businesses, who do what the English, as they call us, they actually have at the end of their long path going back to the farmhouse, they have a phone booth. Okay, it's a wooden shack, and inside the wooden shack is a landline telephone hooked to the phone line. So if they want
a real working telephone,
yeah. So
are they allowed to use it? Or do you
because it's not
go in and dial a phone number, and when it connects, the booth explodes.
Well, no. It's it's not on it's not in their house. It's not where they live. It's on the edge of their property, and they're using it for the purpose of their business. Okay.
Oh, so you can't just go call your family in another village.
No. So they have this phone here. Now, some of them have allowed cell phones to come into their use, but very limited. But they managed to survive, and for the most part, they're multi-millionaires because, first off, they're not paying taxes to anybody.
They build great furniture. They build barns.
Correct. They have their own businesses, and they have high quality furniture that they build, or dairy, or eggs, or whatever. The farm is handed from dad to son, the son. So it stays within the family.
Now, what happens if a dad only has daughters? Is it passed to daughter's husband, to son,
Correct.
to
Correct.
son, to
Correct.
son,
Correct.
to son?
Yeah. So if you're ever driving down a country road and you happen to pass an Amish or a Mennonite farmhouse and you see two front doors, what they've done is that the daughter has actually moved in to the other half of the house. So I mean these houses are huge. They have like 8, 10, 12 bedrooms. I almost became Mennonite. Okay, so I know what I'm talking about. But if you see two front doors,
you broke the rules, though.
Yeah, I broke the rules, and and they actually wanted me to break the rules to join up, and I just thought to myself, how can I lie to their elders to let them know that I'm still in the military and be a good true Mennonite? I just couldn't do it.
I thought it was something you did to a Mennonite that wasn't going to allow you to join.
I actually almost married a Mennonite girl.
I don't want to get you into any trouble. So
I know. With the Mennonites and the Amish, if a guy is seen spending a lot of time with a girl, like doing things outside, going to the stores or on walks, or and they spend a lot of time together over a period of time, they are, in their way, they're married, even though they didn't get going through the marriage process. They are what do we call it? Like our 7-year common law marriage. So
you have to watch.
You have to watch that out together.
You have to watch that out in some states. Common law can mess you just as bad as a real divorce split.
These people who live together, they don't realize that in some states there's hidden amongst all the rule books is that 7-year common law. So yeah, you gotta be careful about that part. But
does that mean that Facebook and I, after 15 years, are married?
Oh, I don't know. That's between you and Facebook.
So can I kick them out and get half of Mark Zuckerberg's share of Facebook?
Yeah. I don't know. He's got that lawsuit he's got to pay off. I mean, you might not want to be part of that.
No, that's true.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, Russia's fighting Ukraine. Ukraine's fighting Russia. But apparently, there's some small country. I didn't catch the name of it, but some kind of small territory bordering Ukraine and Russia that wants to become part of Russia. So that made him happy.
Crimea. I think it's Crimea.
You think it's Crimea?
Crimea. Yep. Crimea. Crimea. I could be wrong, but I think that's what it is. And that seems to be. I heard originally that supposedly Putin was afraid that if Ukraine remained free and independent, that the U.S. would build a NATO base there, and that would upset Putin only because Putin wants to get into NATO very badly. And I'm not sure what Biden, who thinks he's the king of NATO, will allow that to happen or not. Good morning, William Grant. William Grant has watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcast now than anyone except Danny Campbell, who has watched more Boogie with the Bull broadcast than William Grant. And it's always depending on which one is watching. If they're both watching, then I'm in trouble. I have to flip a coin and see what happens. But they both watch all the time. And he did say that Nick Gurr said that it is Crimea that we were trying to think of.
Yeah, I'm going back through my old broadcast because I need to find a way to have my broadcast ding me when people make comments after the fact, after it's live, so I can respond to them. And I'm going back through the list here. I'm talking to you, and Nick Gurr. I made some comments on one of my broadcasts about someone leaving a show, but he didn't say who. So I asked him, what the name of the person was. But
Okay.
talking about the
Right.
alien.
None of that drama here.
No. Dude, talking about the aliens things. I tell my wife, Claudette, with the multi-millions, possibly billions of planets, and other, I don't want to say structures, but other, other things floating in space that aren't given a planet's name because they're not big enough or they're not the right shape or whatever. It's hard to believe that we have all those out there, but this planet is the only one that has any type of life form on it. And that's why when I see these videos of our military personnel, not only ours but other nations, where the fighter planes are chasing these alien spacecraft, UFOs, where you want to give the name to, and they can't keep up with them because of the the speed they fly or their ability to be multi-directional and so forth. I'm sorry, there is life on other planets. And you talk to other broadcasters who have shows about this, and the evidence that he brings out on his shows. I'm just waiting for the day to, it would be great that Trump comes to the office. He gets
maybe he's one of them.
And then the
if
UFO
not, maybe she's one of them.
Yeah. And they walk out to greet and congratulate Trump on his election, on his winning the election again. There has to be life on another planet somewhere, and I'm just waiting for the day that they actually come. Hopefully, peacefully. I don't want to live, a sci-fi movie event where the world is blown away and we're struggling to survive or eating trash and garbage and so forth.
Well, you'll know two things: that there's life on other planets when a Tesla repair shop opens on their next door to the Amazon warehouse.
Yeah. So one last thing, I gotta get going. What do you think about Trump's new adventure that's going to net him $4 billion?
Which is?
He's merged in a couple of. He's going to merge.
He's going to merge with Trump Media and Technology Group is going to merge with Digital World Acquisition.
Yeah,
that's one of them. That seems to be. It goes back almost every day that it's up in arms and it could be risked, because I guess between the two of them right now, the latest round of funding that they're both trying to raise to complete the deal is $50 million that Digital World Acquisition needs to raise. And evidently the judgment $500 million lawsuit has slowed that deal down only because they don't know whether or not Trump can raise the money or has the money to complete the deal. I just think that both sides just need to do it and finish it, and it's done, and then that's what it is. But I also, by the same token, think, like I said, that Truth Social and Rumble should merge, because there were rumors going around months ago that Truth Social and Rumble were going to merge because Truth Social operates on Rumble's network as their backbone, and that would also give them access to being able to have live streaming on Truth Social without them having to spend according to Steve Tolliver, if he's still around, anywhere from $150 million to $300 million to buy the live stream servers, which are evidently very expensive. People are also, let me say one more thing. People are also telling me that, if you want to be on Rumble and you do a live stream and you have a YouTube channel, just take the link from your YouTube, set up your studio, open it up so that you have a link so that you're on your YouTube channel. Go to your YouTube channel, take the link, and post it on Rumble. when you become live, you will be live. If you go over to StreetLock, you can take the link to your YouTube channel and plug it in, embed it into a post, and anytime you go live, you're live on StreetLock. They don't have any live chat because that part of the equation hasn't been figured out
Yeah,
yet.
I actually tried. I went to Rumble to try and figure out how to do a live broadcast using Rumble, and it kept telling me I had to have a paid subscription. So I went with the low one and paid $10.
Yeah.
But as soon as I'm used to seeing in StreamYard the ability to record a video and then play it back later, or to set up everything I have and then just go live. But unless I don't know how to use Rumble yet, when I clicked on the live button, it went live immediately. And I didn't know where the hell it was being broadcasted to, because it didn't ask me if I wanted to go to Facebook or whatever. So I don't know where the hell it was going. So I hit live and I started talking. And my wife didn't know I was going live. She came in, I blew up, and I'm trying to find out how to shut down the damn live broadcast. I'm doing, how the hell did I do this? And I'm trying to find how to stop the damn live broadcast. I reached out to Daryl. Daryl, and he told me how to finally shut it down, and then to delete the video. So I don't know if I went live and someone actually was watching and saw me blow up on my wife because she walked in on me. But I don't think I'm going to use Rumble until I figure out how the hell to use it.
I have the Boogie with the Bull locals channel, which is like other people had to have in order to go live. I have that. I know that you need for StreamYard, you need an RTMP code and a stream key. And it tells you how to get it. The only problem I haven't found yet is how to go to Rumble and be able to take out my credit card and say, please start charging me. And until I can figure that out, that's why we haven't done it. But you can also, and if you do it that way, then you do get your if you do it, then you're paying Rumble and you're using your locals channel, then you do get the live chat on your StreamYard broadcast. But I don't really know. And I understand what you're saying, Nick, that a lot of YouTubers have left YouTube and gone to Rumble because of YouTube censoring. Where I am is I'm kind of not like everybody else who leaves, has Facebook, has YouTube, adds Rumble, and I'm going to get rid of Facebook and I'm going to get rid of YouTube. I don't want to do that. I want to keep Facebook, keep YouTube until they take them away from me, add Rumble until they take that away from me, and then go on and add others so that we're all over the internet at the same time, because it's totally impossible to be everywhere on the internet at the same time without spending huge amounts of money, which I don't want to do. And I don't know. But anyway, Randy, final words?
Yeah, I'm gonna end one thing with something that brings a smile to your face, and I got you going. My poor wife, I don't know what has happened, but she uses Facebook to listen to her 50s, 60s, 70s music, right? And she belongs to other groups like coffee and dogs and cats and sweet, cute things, right? But she'll come running to me and she'll show me her Facebook page, and at the top where it has the reels, all this damn porno shit is up there.
Yep.
And it's like
the stories.
Right. And she had all this porno stuff up here, and she's getting booted out of her group because they think she's posting it. Yep. And when you go to the stories to get rid of the image,
there's no way to get rid of it. There's no way to get rid of it.
So I deleted her Facebook account and I recreated it. booted out all her groups, and they came back again. So I
Because
cleaned out her Facebook again, and I created a
because
new one.
stories are your friends, and you see their story. So if someone is your friend, you see whatever their story is. You can't get rid of it. And you know what? I'll respond only this way, and then I know you got to go. We have a bad problem in our public groups of what I call drive-by pornings. People participate, drop porn, get lucky enough sometimes and join, drop porn, and before an admin or a moderator or me can remove it, Facebook removes it. And then 10 months from now, after they have removed it, they want to nail me again for it. There is so much porn on Facebook, controlled by Facebook, that Facebook could remove from Facebook if they really wanted to, but they don't want to remove it. So the honest answer is find someplace else where you can go. It's probably just as much on X or anywhere else you can go. You may not see it as much. They may work harder to get rid of it, but you know, there is no happy answer. There is no happy answer.
I don't have that issue. You know, now all my groups are Southern groups. Okay,
but are they private groups or are they public groups?
That's a good question.
If they're private groups, in order to do any drive-by porning, they have to become a member. And if you put your group on post approval required and comment pre-approval required, that blocks all of it. The same thing in a public group. You have to do the same thing. But then your participants who aren't members, they still have to be approved or pre-approved. And that's how the drive-by porners do it. They come in as participants and they drop as much as they can, and then they leave. They block the group, so you can't take it. You can't block them from. It's just a pain in the ass. And I've had more arguments with Facebook people, meaning, you know, if you really wanted to take care of this, you could take care of this, and it wouldn't be a problem anymore. But anyway, I don't want to ruin. I don't want to ruin your Saturday. Good point.
I don't
want you to ruin your Saturday.
I'll check out my wife's groups, see if they're private or public, and just tell her to stay away from the public groups. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Good talking to you. Finally met. Sorry for this morning.
No, it's all right. It's
eyes will never be the same, Dave. Let me tell you.
Well, okay. Well, then maybe what I'll do from now on when I go to let you on is I'll do a flip. I'll stand on my hands and you'll see that my legs are.
No.
You'll see that I'm dressed that way. I just have
no. Thanks. Oh my God, no. See ya.
All right, Randy Rhodes from Stepping Stones. There's another word that I may have missed, but it's Stepping Stones. It is coming soon. It can be a difficult task doing something like a broadcast and even doing it on a regular basis. And it takes a lot of work. And I hope that people are watching different broadcasts and that they let the broadcasters know that they appreciate what they do. We here at the No Budget Broadcasting Company really just want to make it very, very, very simple to do a broadcast and have people watch a broadcast. So we just go to StreamYard, set up a studio, get a bunch of friends or guests to come into that studio, and then we just go live. We do it Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. That's Boogie with the Bull Morning Caffeine. Grab a fresh cup of your favorite morning caffeine in your favorite morning caffeine vessel and come talk what's going on in the world, your world, my world, what's going on Facebook or any place else that you are on social media. There's nothing more fun on a Boogie with the Bull broadcast than to bash Facebook sometimes, until the point that they decide one day that we won't that we won't be here. I'm glad you enjoyed Bill Muckler. We brought him on this morning. He didn't have a lot of time. He only had about 20 minutes to sit with us because he was dashing out to have breakfast with friends. And yesterday I had made previous plans, so there was no Friday morning Boogie with the Bull broadcast. This week there is one on Monday, there is one on Wednesday, there is one on Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, so adjust your time accordingly. But like I said, it's pretty much like it is today. We kind of start with politics and we wind around to a few other things, sometimes non-political, and then we bring it back to politics and we close it out. But yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m. A rare Saturday morning Boogie with the Bull happens at 10 a.m. on Saturday when I can't do it. It won't be rare for the next probably month because there are craft shows. So my wife and daughter-in-law will be gone at those, and that leaves the studio open for me to do them. So they won't be so rare for the next month. But Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern, Boogie with the Bull morning caffeine, and then Saturday, a rare Saturday morning Boogie with the Bull. And then Tuesday and Thursday evenings, we have Boogie with the Bull Tuesday Night Live and Boogie with the Bull Thursday Night Live. And the Thursday nights, usually we start with Jen Woodruff, the homeschooling mom, and we have a history lesson, 15, 20 minutes that is usually informative. And I hope people are watching and listening and learning. And then if you have questions, sometimes you can ask Jen questions about it. And then we dive right back into open discussions, and we wrap up about 8:30. This Thursday, we have a special guest that a writer, a person with a lot of knowledge they want to share. I'm not sure how it will be received, but we're going to do it anyway. It's a next level kind of broadcast for Boogie with the Bull. Someone who just wants to come and try Boogie and see how it goes, sharing information and knowledge that they have. It will be Thursday at 7 p.m. So please join us. I didn't answer your question, Dave. What question did I miss, Nick? It's futile to argue with Facebook. Yes, it is futile to argue with Facebook. So is that the question? It's futile to argue with Facebook, especially if you get a person at Facebook, because they're worse than cellular phone company Indian call centers, in the sense that if you get a person, they're not going to tell you or agree to anything that you want them to agree. Randy is in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. I don't know the exact city, but he is in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Nick. And there might be more than one Randy Rhodes, because I think there's a guitarist that I don't know whether or not they're still active, named Randy Rhodes, but this is not that Randy Rhodes. But Randy Rhodes is from Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. But if you go and you check all of the Randy Rhodes pages, you might find one in the listings that lists all roads, RHODES, all roads lead to home genealogy services, and that's the one that is Randy Rhodes. So make him your friend, and if you're looking at genealogy services over there, I honestly don't know, Nick, but I will make sure that I have the answer for you on the next Boogie with the Bull broadcast, which will be Monday morning at 10 a.m. on Dave Globen here on Facebook and on the Boogie with the Bull YouTube channel. Enjoy the rest of your day. And this is the part of the broadcast where I say you've been watching Boogie. Yep. This is the part of the broadcast where I say you've been watching a rare Saturday morning Boogie with the Bull, a copyrighted presentation of the No Budget Broadcasting Company. If you have any questions about copyrights that you think we did violate on this broadcast, please message me and we can go from there. If we did not mean to, and we will apologize for doing so, but to the best of my knowledge, we did not. Callum McMillan has the best comment of the day. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will. I do not know if anybody will be on tonight in the 7 p.m. hour. It's kind of up for grabs since the broadcast that was there stopped, I believe, temporarily. But that's about all I can tell you. I'm hoping they come back. I really am hoping they come back. Not going to get into that drama, but I'm hoping that they come back. I do not believe that they are coming back to Facebook. I believe they have gone to other places. And if you know who that host was, you can contact him and get more information. But I was kind of hoping that they would come back to Facebook, but I do not believe that they are. That's why I said when we expand Boogie, we will go from being on Facebook like we are, YouTube like we are. We will hopefully add Rumble and be on Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. We finally got some interesting information on how to do it on Street Lock, and we did it, but we didn't quite do it right the first time. So we will go correct it so that we will be live on Facebook and YouTube and Street Lock in the next few days. And then we will add Rumble, and then we will just look around. And if it works on Rumble, if it works on Street Lock the way they told us to do it, then it will work on Rumble. And if it works on Rumble, then there's a few other places we can do it. And we will just have to go back to being like my good friend JJ McCartney used to do it. He got up very early in the morning and set it up on StreamYard and then went over to Rumble. Set it up on StreamYard, then went over to YouTube, and then took the link from the YouTube channel and posted it on like 500 groups on Facebook. And then when he went live, he was all over Facebook. It really is a pain in the rear end to deal with Facebook right now, but I'm doing it, and I'm working hard to keep from just saying to my admins of my groups and other groups that I'm in, please take your groups and please take my groups and just do what you can with them. And I'm just going to kind of move on. But like I said, I'm getting pangs to really want to do that just because after 15 years, I just don't want to be hassled anymore. I find it very disrespectful, very antagonizing, very angry to wake up every morning and find something that Facebook took down 10 months ago or longer and penalized us at the time they took it down, to now come back and want to penalize me again for something they took down 10 months ago and can't even tell me what it was that they took down. I am running for Facebook CEO 2024. Vote for me on election day. I do not expect to actually be given the title, but not saying that I could be the one who totally converts Facebook, but if I was made Facebook CEO and I had 24 hours to make the changes that I wanted to make, the changes would be made within the 24 hours and everybody would be happy. And if you didn't like using Facebook the same way you don't like using X, then I would tell you don't use Facebook anymore. Also, I'm going to end this by saying X, Rob Reiner says that if Trump wins, he's going to set himself on fire. Cher says that she's going to blow herself up. There are rumors that Taylor Swift has said that she will stop singing. And Rashida Tlaib has said that she will leave the United States of America. I have put together the So Long X tour, and I keep advertising it so that every time I hear something else, it's Rob Reiner will pour gas on himself, opening for Cher, who will blow herself up, opening for Taylor Swift, who will no longer sing in America, followed by the closing act, which will be Rashida Tlaib's plane leaving the United States and never coming back. But go over to X. It's a lot more fun. You don't get nailed for what you say over on X as much. You don't get nailed for anything, really, that you say on Twitter, whether it insults other people's intelligence that deserve to have their intelligence insulted. But that's where I am. I'm at Boogie WT Bull over on X. I am Dave Globin on StreetLock, StreetLoc.com. I'm also Boogie with the Bull, but you see Dave Globin over there more than you see Boogie with the Bull. On Truth Social, I am Dave Globin. On Gab, I am Dave Globin. On MeWe, I am Dave Globin. Over on MeWe, we have Conservative Freedom Defenders, which we're doing a lot of reconstruction on and getting it going again. We also have the Hardcore Conservatives group, which we're doing a lot of work on and getting that going. So if you're on MeWe and you're on Facebook, you want to be in those two groups. Anyway, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. It's time to go. A copyright violation. Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. A copyright violation. We'll be looking for that copyright violation on a future episode of Boogie with the Bull. Next one, like I said, Monday morning, 10 a.m. and Tuesday night at 7 p.m. Those are Eastern time, so adjust yourself accordingly. As Robin Brunson brought up at the beginning of the broadcast, make sure you set your clocks right tonight. I think it's actually 2 a.m. that you need to set your clocks back, 2 a.m. Sunday morning. But if you go to bed and you set your clocks back in your house before you go to bed, when you wake up, as long as you wake up after 2 a.m., they should be right. Computers, cell phones, some cars will set themselves. So make sure you check the battery in your car. If you have an older car and it doesn't, then you might have to push an hour button and reset it. It's not that difficult. Or set a watch or do whatever you want to do. Like Bill Muckler said, if you make a promise to be somewhere to do something at a specific time, do it. If there's a reason that you didn't get it started, at least cover that with everybody. Because sooner or later, if you keep telling people, I will be there at a certain time, I will be there at a certain time, I will be there at a certain time, and you're not there, then those people will pretty much either find another way to do it or they'll just do it without you being involved. I'm Dave Globin, you're not. Thank you for the privilege of letting me abuse your time. And we go from there. Look for more The Gospel According to Globin. They are 30-minute, 20-minute, 5-minute drops that I am doing, more designed to be off of Facebook and on Twitter. If we can get them down to 5 minutes, we will probably release more of them on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, and tweet them more often and try to grow a bigger following over on X. Anyway, I'm Dave Globin. You're not. Go out and have a great day. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast is going to come to an end. We'll hit this one. Double B's for victory. This Boogie with the Bull broadcast did come to an end, and